I'm Larry Levin of the St. Louis Jewish Light, and welcome to our new video feature, Hey Hey, 5 and 5, in which we visit with people key to the Jewish community in St. Louis. Our very first guest is Sonia Dobinsky, the Executive Director of the Central Agency for Jewish Education, or CAJE. Sonia, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for meeting with me.
So, CAJE has many roles involving Jewish education, but one that is critically important is performing the regular census of those who are enrolled in Jewish education programs from early childhood through high school. You can give us a brief overview of trends you see in that census.
Sure. Tell
Tell us about the key positives and negatives and how they track with national trends.
You know, this community doesn't conduct an annual census, or hasn't actually conducted an overall census of the population for about 15 years. So we really view this census as an indicator, although just looking at students, you know, birth through 18, we really view it as an indicator of what this community is doing. We are declining in enrollment at a slightly faster pace in these last 5 to 6 years than we have ever. As we're seeing a decline based on the fact that these baby boomers, the echo boom is over. There's really nothing wrong with small as long as you don't plan for big. And so the census is really a good indicator of that.
One thing people might not know about CAJE is how many different programs you either perform or oversee. So if you go to the CAJE website, almost 40 different programs are listed for kids and adults. How do you measure these programs against your mission to determine which ones are the most important and which get the most human and financial resources?
You know, we did a strategic plan, a comprehensive strategic plan, which represented a shift 5 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago. And basically what we decided at that point was our core function was going to be looking at teachers in congregational schools and teachers in other areas, but we were really going to focus our core work on teachers. That doesn't mean that they get all the resources, but a lot of the programs that you see on our website coordinate with supporting teachers, training them as adults, training them as teachers, training them in a system, providing resources to teachers and the people who direct them. So through our councils we do that. We also have a grant process that gives them grants to go to conferences, to go for more professional development. So really that's our key core focus, but our other work spirals off of that. They all support our mission, which is to ensure the continuity of Jews in this community. So we really believe that continuity rests strongly on education. What we try not to do, Larry, and it was a very key in our strategic plan, is we only do something if we are not in competition or not overlapping with another organization in a substantive way. Really, that's our matrix. That's what we hold up to say, is this appropriate for CAJE?
Most people in the Jewish community will say in the abstract that education is critical at every level, from tots to seniors. But in talking with community members, do you sometimes have to educate them about Jewish education? And are there misconceptions or fallacies, in your opinion, about both what CAJE does and about Jewish education in general?
Absolutely, there are misconceptions about what CAJE does. But I think it's the misconception is less about what it does, but what it's here for and what it can do. Being the central agency, it doesn't mean we do it all, and that probably is the biggest misconception. It's like, if you're the central agency, then you need to do it all. What we see as our role is making sure that it happens, and making sure that it happens by providing professional support, by providing consolidation and coordination, consultation, and funds. And so when we do that, we find that that's helpful.
You were in for-profit business in a prior life. How does your background suit you for this position differently maybe than someone who was in, say, Jewish education or philanthropy for their entire careers?
It gives me both an understanding of what's happening here, but also a little bit of an objective standpoint. So I can say to myself, I need to look at this as a business. So I need to look at how this operates. Do we have the right personnel? Are we all working to productivity levels? Are we contributing to the whole? But in addition, I have an incredible staff who fills in those other pieces. And I see my role as being someone who makes sure that that staff exists and that this organization continues. So I think that's what I bring most to business.
And finally, you and I were on a Jewish Federation agency trip to Israel last year. How's that trip influenced you in your stewardship of CAJE?
We learned about organizations. We learned about structure. It wasn't a sightseeing tour. So really, it has given me a totally different perspective. in terms of why we're here, what we need to do to ensure continuity, how we connect. And I will say that it actually has caused me to ask a lot more questions than I might have. And I think anytime you have questions asked, that means a really great opportunity for change and growth.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us today.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you again. And it's our first episode of Hey Hey 5 and 5. This is Larry Levin saying thanks for watching.